Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. So, welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. It's like always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of July 15th through 21st, 2024. All right. So there was a lot to cover today. There's a lot going on this week. We've already seen a lot of activity over the weekend, right? I don't even need to say it, I don't think, right? But the astrology explains everything. And we're actually experiencing a major transit today, which helps to explain exactly what happened over the weekend and just the slew of other things that are going to happen this week. All right. So it is kind of a mixed bag. Lots going on, lots to cover. So I won't even bullshit. Let's just really get into it. All right. But of course, before I get into the details, housekeeping and announcements. So if you are joining me here on the live, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Say hi on your way in and hit that like button, please. And thank you. And if you're joining here on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully you get what you're looking for in this broadcast. And if that is the case, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell if you haven't already. All right. So let's say you're someone that wants your horoscope, but you don't know where to look, or perhaps where you're looking just doesn't resonate. If you're interested, then you would definitely want to sign up for my text service where you will get your horoscope, your weekly horoscope texted to you every Monday. Short, sweet, to the point. Really resonates. People really like it. If you are interested, you'll want to text the word Zodiac to the number 855-826-5544. All right. And if you missed that, the information will be in the description box below. All right. And as always, if you are someone who's brand spanking new to astrology and you have no idea what's going on, or maybe you're not so brand new to astrology and you still have no idea what's going on, don't worry, I've got you covered. I created this thing called the Astrology Basics Cheat Sheet, which is essentially a quick and dirty on the basic elements of astrology so you can start studying them and understanding them. Mainly the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the planets, the houses, the zodiac signs, and the aspects. So it's an 11-page PDF document that gives you a short summary on all of these things so that you can start committing them to memory. Because regardless of what anyone says or doesn't say, astrology is indeed a science. And like any science, it requires a good deal of study. So to help you start studying, I created this cheat sheet. If you are interested, the link will be in the description box below. All right. And let's say you want more content, right? Or maybe you are just looking for a way to support the channel because you're really happy and you value everything that I'm putting out there. Then consider becoming a roommate, which is joining our channel membership. So as a roommate, you get roommate exclusive videos, you get early access to all of the general videos here in the Astro Room. Plus, you get 20% off of my products and services forever. All right. It's, again, a great way to get more content and also a great way to support the channel. So if you're interested in that, the link will be in the description box below. All right. And last but not least, my signature service called the Blueprints. Oh, is that not showing up? It is not showing up. Hold on a second. There we go. My signature service called the Blueprint, which is my natal chart reading, is currently $50 off. It is really you from soup to nuts. Like, I really go in depth in terms of your natal chart. I don't just talk about your natal chart. I also talk about the current astrology as well. I pull some cards. It's a whole vibe. All right. Again, it's $50 off until the end of July. If you are interested, the link is in the description box below, as well as tagged to this video. All right. All right. So Let's get into it because it has been a hell of a couple of days, hasn't it? And I'm sure that you can feel this energy. So, one of the first things that I want to say is that one of the major players this week is Mars. And we all know how Mars likes to get down. Mars likes to get down and dirty. All right. There's a lot of dynamic, there's a lot of bold, there's a lot of expressive, volatile, and even violent energy that's circulating in the cosmos this week. All right. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that we're really going to be feeling a lot of heat. I mean, I don't know about you, but the temperature is crazy over here, right? Feeling the heat physically and figuratively. But there's also this energy of autonomy and sort of breaking free. I want to say that one of the major sort of, I should say, one of the more prevalent energies this week is this energy of sort of liberation. However, it's kind of liberation that is the result of revolution. Okay. It can be very jarring. It can be very erratic, even. It could be very impulsive. But many of us are feeling like it's time for something new. Whatever I've been dealing with, whatever I've been going through, like I'm ready to end all that. I'm over it. I'm done with it. It's time to move on. Mars likes to start shit. And so this may be a week where you feel like you want to start something new, or you have this new, I don't even want to say newfound passion because it's not newfound. It may just be rediscovered or reignited this week, right? And with Mars and passion, it's very one track minded. It's very laser like focused on what it really wants. And so this may be a week where you get very clear on what you want. And you may even be willing to go after what you want by any means necessary. So it's definitely a bold and dynamic week. So, not just that, we have this intense Mars Uranus conjunction today. Mars is also going to be changing signs this week. Plus, we have a second full moon in Capricorn back to back. So, yeah, lots going on. All right. So, I don't have much words of wisdom this week. This doesn't feel like a week where we're sort of really introspective. This seems like a week where we're kind of just going out and getting things, going out and doing things, being proactive, shooting your shot. Starting something new. So I feel like that's where most of our energy is going to be channeled this week. So you may want to take a look at where Gemini is in your chart because Gemini has been like the hotbed of activity since May. And that definitely continues this week with Mars moving into Gemini. And so, wherever Gemini is in your natal chart is going to be one of those places or those areas of life, I should say, where you're really going to want to start something new. You're going to feel like you have a battery in your back. You're going to feel like you just want to be all over the place. You're going to feel reignited. Your mind is going to be firing on all cylinders a lot. It can be an overwhelming kind of week, not just because of that transit, but because we just have a lot of planetary transits this week, just period. So pace yourselves, all right, and brace yourselves because there's a lot going on. All right. So without further ado, let's jump right in and see what we got going on for the week. So, in terms of the highlights, first we have what I like to call breaking out the mold. And this is Mars conjunct Uranus, which is happening today. This is feeling like the best way to describe this transit, or one of the ways to describe this transit, is like maybe you feel like you've been in a straight jacket for a long time, and now it's time to break out of the straight jacket and break out of the psych unit, right? Like it's time to really rip things apart, break things open, literally break the mold and move forward. All right. Definitely some uncomfortable feelings because both of these planets are in Taurus. And so Taurus represents our comfort zone. So many of us are not even being pushed out of our comfort zones. We're pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones. This is being erratic in how you achieve your goals or desires. Again, there's a lot of impulsive energy this week. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things play out on the grand stage. We already saw what happened with your boy Teflon Don over the weekend. And so now seeing the reaction to that and seeing how people are going to move forward in this time of this Mars energy, it's going to be really interesting. Okay. The other thing that I don't like about this particular transit is accidents. sudden accidents, car accidents with sharp objects. Like you really have to be careful with knives, with scissors, with things like that, because before you know it, you could lose a pinky, you could lose, an ear even. Almost. But accidents is definitely another facet of this particular transit. All right. Then next, we have what I like to call mental gymnastics, and this is Mars in Gemini. Like I said, Gemini is like a hotbed of activity, and it has been since May. So we had all of that Gemini energy when the Sun, Mercury, Venus were in Gemini. However, we still have Jupiter there, which is expanding everything. And now we have Mars going in there, which is like adding fuel to the fire. So all of our communication, our ideas, writing, paperwork, text messages, emails, like all of this is going to ramp up. Okay. And so this could lead to mental overload. Number one, there's lots of big and expansive ideas. Your level of curiosity also can really be peaked to the highest level with this particular transit. So that could be an interesting way to experience that. And then we have firing on all cylinders. Like I can't stress enough how your mind is going to be on overdrive this week. And then finally, we have what I like to call the finale. And this is our second full moon in Capricorn. Okay, this is going down on Sunday. It's happening at the 29th degree of Capricorn, which is the anaretic degree, which is a critical degree in astrology. So it just means intensity, basically. This is all about wrapping things up and next level goals. All right. So I'll get more into this when I actually describe the full moon. And I'm also dropping a video on Friday all about the full moon in Capricorn. But what I will say about it is that last month we had the full moon in Capricorn at the 1st degree of Capricorn. This month in July, we have the full moon in Capricorn at the last degree of Capricorn. So there has been this progression over the last month that is finally wrapping up in a major sort of way. All right. Should be really interesting. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the week. So you see, told you, lots of stuff going on. So today we've got Mars conjunct Uranus, and we also have the Sun square Chiron. Thereafter tomorrow, we've got the moon moving into Sagittarius. On Thursday, we have the Sun sextile Uranus and Mercury trine Chiron. Then on Friday, we've got Venus trine the North Node and the moon moving into Capricorn. On Saturday, we've got Mars moving into Gemini, and Mars will also sextile Neptune before he enters Gemini. And then Sunday, we've got the full moon in Capricorn, Sun trine Neptune, Mercury square Uranus, Venus sextile Jupiter, Mars trine Pluto, and the moon moving into Aquarius. All right, so let's jump right in. All right, so today we start off with Mars conjunct Uranus and the Sun square Chiron. So the upper left-hand portion of the chart, you will see the Sun at 23 degrees of Cancer. And then all the way over on the right, that green key looking thing, that is Chiron, and that is at 23 degrees of Aries. And then in that middle circle, we've got Mars and Uranus both at 26 degrees of Taurus. All right, so Mars conjunct Uranus. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of astrologers have really singled out this particular transit because it's quite volatile. Okay. It's assassinations, it's accidents, it's a lot of sudden, violent, or dynamic energy, right? However, it doesn't have to be. And for a while, I contemplated doing a video just on this transit, but I didn't want it to be such that people got afraid or that people thought it was perhaps going to affect them more than it will. Because even though, yes, it could lead to accidents and whatnot, not everyone is going to experience this transit in this way. But I think the best way, or the more prevalent way that people will experience this transit, is breaking out of the mold, specifically breaking out of your comfort zone. And what's interesting is that Mars as a planet, it's very self-willed, meaning like it's your own willpower that becomes activated with Mars. Whereas Uranus is what I like to call the hand of God. It's what you can't control. So it's this interesting mix of your own willpower, your own sense of control and autonomy, mixed with the universe put together. And I like this. I like this because it's giving like Big Bang Theory. It's giving fresh new start. It's giving, the universe meeting you halfway. If you have the willpower, the drive, and the ambition to start something new, the universe is like, boom, I got you, and just sort of will move mountains in order to facilitate this new thing that you're starting. So this transit is exact today, meaning that both planets are at the exact same degree. However, the energy has been prevalent since the last couple of days and will continue for the next couple of days, especially because Mars, like I said, is a major player this week and will be aspecting a lot of other planets. So I guess if I had to sum up this week in a nutshell in terms of how you can use the energy, I really feel like it is thinking new thoughts, telling yourself a new story, dreaming a new dream, and then willing to take the action to facilitate that. Now, there's going to be an element of introspection, and I'll get into that later. But transformation is very prevalent this week. The energy of transformation is prevalent this week, not just because of Mars and starting something new, right? Mars is also going to trine Pluto, which has a lot to do with transformation, but we're also having this full moon in Capricorn that's wrapping things up. So try not to the word that I'm hearing is flustered. And I don't necessarily think that you would feel flustered. It's just this energy of wrapping things up, starting something new, seeing something come to fruition, and then, wanting to take something new to the next level, feeling this dynamic energy while also feeling this satisfaction maybe of completing something. I hope that makes sense, right? But like I said, the energy this week is kind of a mixed bag. So we're kind of going to be all over the place. Okay. But suffice it to say, this particular transit, Mars conjunct Uranus, excellent for starting something new, okay? And anytime Uranus is in the mix, it's like you have to listen to your intuition. While Mars will be entering Gemini later in the week, we also have Jupiter in Gemini. There is a heavy emphasis on our logic, on our reasoning, on our mental activities, right? However, do not let your logic, do not let your mind overpower your intuition. Like I said, if you are willing to be bold about something, like, listen, I want to start this new thing, even if you take just a little baby step, right? A little baby step, just putting your toe outside of your comfort zone, the universe is going to meet you more than halfway, right? But the action that you need to take, it's not necessarily going to be something that you think about. It's not something that you're going to ruminate on. It's really going to be your intuition, like, boom, let's do this. And it could be real quick. That's why if you're too much in your head, you may miss it. Or you may, spend so much time overthinking what your intuition has just told you. Everything about Uranus and Mars, when you put them together, it kind of evokes this kind of speed. It's this sort of suddenness, this impulsivity, right? And if it's coming from your intuition, understand that it is okay to be impulsive. A lot of times we are told that that's not a good thing. I mean, you don't want to be reckless, but impulsivity is great because it gets you moving when you otherwise wouldn't. So really pay attention to what your intuition is trying to show you or tell you or guide you this week, particularly today, and I would say probably until Wednesday. You may have to take sudden action. You may have to do something that you normally don't do. You may really have to move quickly or something like that. You know what I mean? So pay attention. Try not to let your thoughts drown out your intuition. All right. There's also going to be this like impetus for excitement. Anytime we have Uranus energy, it can almost feel like borderline anxiety. it's like a live wire, right? Something's coming, but you don't know what it is. You're kind of hyped, but you don't know why. You're slightly nervous because you don't know how things are going to turn out. Like that is the energy of Uranus. So if you are feeling that, that's perfectly normal. That's actually a part of what's going on right now. I will say though, stay hydrated and definitely monitor your caffeine intake. This kind of transit, this impulsivity plus this like excitement, anxiety, like if you're hopped up on caffeine, like this could really like fuck your life up or even worse, fuck up somebody else's life. So be mindful. All right. And then we also have the sun square Chiron. And when we have the sun square Chiron, it's like you have this desire to want to stand out. Anytime we have the sun involved in any sort of transit, it really has to do with us, our personality, our ego, our uniqueness, and shining, right? That's exactly what the sun does. Now, when you have the sun square Chiron, it's like you have this desire to express yourself, to shine, if you will. But your emotional wounds, your traumas, your insecurities, AKA Chiron, is like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to wear that? Are you sure you should say that? Like Chiron's kind of like, throwing a wet blanket on picnic. Is that the phrase? I don't know. I wanted to say something really cute and it just didn't come out cute. But you get what I mean, right? You want to express yourself and Chiron is like, but remember the last time you did that? It wasn't received well or people laughed at you or people made fun of you or whatever, right? Push through that. The sun shines regardless, okay? Like it's clearly we know this. And so when it comes to your desire to express yourself, don't let your insecurities stop you. What you should do is learn from those insecurities, right? Once you push past those insecurities, typically they're no longer insecurities anymore because you've overcome them, all right? So shine. This transit may find some of you also stepping into some sort of leadership position or stepping into a position where you are seen, where you are heard, and or where you are recognized. And for some, especially let's say if you have a fear of public speaking, this could feel very daunting. It could feel very scary, right? Push through the fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. And then overcome those insecurities, those wounds, or that trauma, right? And it will enrich your sense of self in a way that you probably won't realize. Because have you ever really taken the time to examine when you have overcome a fear or have done something that's really difficult that you were scared to do? How did you feel afterward? You felt invincible. You felt amazing. You felt like a whole new person, right? And this sort of plays into what I was talking about before with the energy of the week and it being about transformation and newness, right? This particular transit, Sun square Chiron, can facilitate that newness by allowing you to overcome fear, overcome insecurity, overcome doubt, wounds, trauma, whatever, and express yourself uniquely. So you may have opportunities to do that. Or if we couple this transit, right, with what was that? Okay. If you couple this transit, right, Sun square Chiron with Mars conjunct Uranus, it's like you have the willpower to push out of your comfort zone. You want to, you desire it. The Sun square Chiron really, it really plays into that as well because the sun is also your willpower. So this isn't necessarily a situation where you're going to be forced out of your comfort zone. You're forced to shine. It's like, listen, I want my time in the sun. I want my, spotlight. I want to be a leader. I want to be promoted. I want my voice to be heard, right? And doing that means number one, listening to your intuition, like I said before. Number two, be prepared to make sudden moves, be a little impulsive. Number two. And then number three, push past the fear. Push past the fear, the doubt, the insecurities, all of that stuff. When you do those three things within this time frame, and I want to say between now and Wednesday, the universe will meet you more than halfway. So just do it like Nike. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So then on Tuesday, we have the moon moving into Sagittarius, and you will see that at the upper left hand portion of the chart, the moon is at 0 degrees of Sagittarius. All right. So I like this. So building on the energy of everything I just said before, right? We're trying new things, we're pushing past our fears and all that stuff. And then you've got the moon in Sagittarius, which is like optimistic, hopeful, and big picture. The moon is actually waxing in Sagittarius, meaning that we're taking those last steps before our manifestations come to fruition. It's like you see the finish line in the distance, and this is when you push a little harder. And again, with Sagittarius, it's like you see the bigger picture and you're more optimistic about it, right? So let's say you want to start your own business. Now, you've been getting signs and synchronicities from the universe. Every time you go on Instagram, all you see are people talking about their small businesses or ads, that are geared toward entrepreneurs. You've been doing your research, you've been doing everything, and it's starting to hit a fever pitch. You're like, all right, like I feel like I really need to do this. I would say that this is one of the weeks to do that, right? Whether you just incorporate, whether you put a business plan together, whether you get an Instagram handle, right? Taking some sort of action, despite feeling the fear, despite overthinking and psyching yourself out. I feel like this would be the time to do that. Now, this all depends on your natal chart, so don't just take this as this is just a general example. But now you have the moon in Sagittarius. Like the moon in Sagittarius is going to have you feeling good and sort of visualizing what it's like to be an entrepreneur, to have your own business, to have your own schedule, to make, where there's no cap on how much income you can make, right? Even though in taking those action steps, it may feel uncomfortable, or maybe, your intuition is guiding you to, talk to this person or do this thing that feels uncomfortable or that just you don't feel like you're ready for. Moon in Sagittarius is going to have you feeling good because you're seeing the bigger picture. You're looking at the finish line and you're saying, "All right, I'm making my way to that." All right? So I love Moon in Sagittarius for optimism, for big picture thinking, and for just overall feeling good. All right? Let's keep it moving. All right, so now we get to Thursday. So on Thursday, we have the Sun sextile Uranus, and then we have Mercury trine Chiron. So at the right hand portion of the chart, you will see the Sun at 26 degrees of Cancer. And Uranus in the middle of the red circles is at the blue guy, is at 26 degrees of Taurus. Thereafter, in the larger circle on the right hand side, you'll see Mercury at 23 degrees of Leo. And you will see Chiron at the bottom portion of the chart at 23 degrees of Aries. All right. So Sun sextile Uranus. Okay. So Uranus is also doing some things this week as you probably are noticing. Okay. So Sun sextile Uranus has a lot to do with expressing yourself. I said this before, right? Anytime you have the sun, it's about your unique personality, expressing yourself, all of that good stuff. Now, what I like about this transit is that it brings sudden, pleasant surprises, and it may bring opportunities you wouldn't expect that will allow you to express yourself, that will allow you to shine, essentially. So, building on everything that I just talked about, right? So we're taking these steps, we're listening to our intuition, blah, 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 blah. All right. And then come Thursday, it's like, oh, maybe you get an opportunity. An opportunity pops up that furthers your goal, that furthers this desire to not only express yourself, but start something new. Okay. Like I said, it also brings pleasant surprises. So leave room for the magic. That's like my catchphrase when it comes to Uranus. Uranus, like I said, it's the hand of God. It's like you kind of have to let God do its thing. You kind of have to just let things flow and be pleasantly surprised. Surprises are not always bad. We're so conditioned to want to control and micromanage everything, that surprises, even if they're good, initially are jarring, right? We're like, what is this? I'm originally from New York, and if you surprise a New Yorker, whether it's good or bad, they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself, basically. However, learn to recognize when the universe is trying to give you something good. So leave room for the magic. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. It could also mean meeting people that are very different, that are very eclectic, people that garner a lot of attention in a sort of weird and interesting sort of way. And what I like about this, coupled with the astrology for the rest of the week, is that may be your intuition sort of taking you on a different path. You may start to notice that you're meeting different people who are different from your friend group, people who are different from people that you normally work with, right? Like, to use my example before, let's say you're trying to start a business and you're walking down the street and you see like a posting for like a networking event, but it's perhaps at a place you never go to, or maybe it's for an industry that you're not necessarily familiar with. But your intuition is like, I think you should go. I think you should go. You never know who you're going to meet. So this is one of those weeks where you have to leave things open. You have to be receptive to wherever your intuition, aka your highest self, is trying to take you. And so Sun Sextile Uranus just brings great opportunities, surprising opportunities to not only express yourself, but meet different people, and will likely also give you pleasant surprises. Okay. Then we also have Mercury trine Chiron. So this is also a great transit for being, I'm not going to say seen, but more so being heard. Mercury has everything to do with your ideas and your communication. And so with Chiron, this is like, and in a positive aspect, such as a trine, when you put Mercury and Chiron together, this is sort of, okay, this is the best way I can put it. So one of the messages that I've gotten very strongly over the last couple of days is that you can ask the universe to give you like soft lessons. And this was something that actually blew my mind, because typically when I hear like life lessons and, gaining wisdom, it usually connotes hardship, right? Like a life lesson that hurts or that's harsh. And it doesn't need to be. And so I bring that up because Mercury trine Chiron, it's like, let's say that you have a fear of speaking in public, right? Maybe you're shy, maybe you stutter a little bit, whatever it is, right? This is going to bring like a harmonious situation where, even though you feel a little hesitant, maybe you feel a little insecure, your desire to be heard will probably overpower that insecurity or that fear in a way that feels natural. What I love about trines is that it's effortless energy. Things just flow together. So your ability to communicate effectively, your ability to be heard, your ability to exercise your throat chakra, your ability to think about things. And when I say think about things, I mean like create a new narrative for yourself. It's not going to be hindered by your negative thoughts, your negative self-talk, your insecurities, right? You're able to overcome these with ease. So do you notice this trend this week in terms of doing new things, overcoming insecurities, leaving room for the magic? That's why I say that I feel like the energy this week is dynamic for not only starting new things, but for transformation. So not only do what you're guided to do, but tap into your willpower as well. This isn't necessarily just going to be a week where everything kind of just flows to you. As a matter of fact, this is going to be a week where things feel chaotic. So you really need to be dialed into your intuition. You really need to be dialed into your highest self and allow that to drive the car this week. Okay. That's Thursday. Let's keep it moving. All right. And then on Friday, we've got Venus trine the North Node and the moon moving into Capricorn. So at the bottom left-hand portion of the chart, you will see Venus at 9 degrees of Leo. The upper left-hand portion of the chart, you will see that horseshoe-looking guy, that's the North Node, at 9 degrees of Aries. And then at the right side of the chart, we have the moon at 0 degrees of Capricorn, all right? So Again, we're keeping the party moving because I love Venus trine North Node. I love Venus North Node transits, regardless of the aspect, because it allows us to find the right people to put us on the right path. And because it is a trine, you'll likely meet people effortlessly, whether it's people or even resources. Now, both Venus and the North Node are in fire signs. So, this is about following your passion. It's like when you follow your passion, when you tap into your heart space, everything flows seamlessly together. Venus is currently in Leo, and I talked about this last week because last week was when she moved into Leo, and it's all about following your heart, right? Whether it's romance, whether it's what you're passionate about, whether it's your creativity or even your relationship with children, following your heart will put you on the right path. Again, I know I keep messing this up. I know the cowardly lion wanted courage. He should have wanted a heart though, because lion's heart, Leo, that all goes together. However, it's like, think of the Wizard of Oz, right? By following your heart, you're actually following the yellow brick road. Maybe not to a fake wizard, but to your goal. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, this is like the right people finding you, you finding the right people, the right resources finding you, or information regarding the right resources. Okay. So be receptive and get clear on where you're trying to go as well. When we talk about our heart space, we're talking about our deepest desires. And so never, always keep that top of mind and always tap into your heart space in order to reach your goal, right? And again, Venus, trine North Node, everything will everything will come together seamlessly, right people, right resources. Then we have the moon moving into Capricorn. This makes things a little serious. Capricorn is a very serious kind of sign. When the moon is waxing in Capricorn, which is what it will be doing on Friday, this is when you get organized. This is when you get structured. Okay. Now, I like this. Why do I like this? Because again, I'm building on all of the things I've said before. So we're taking action steps, right? We're pushing past our fears. We're listening to our intuition, right? We're letting ourselves be heard. And then with the moon in Capricorn, it's like, all right, now I'm going to make this real. Now I'm going to solidify this. The moon has everything to do with your emotional desires. It's like what you feel like. And so when the moon is in Capricorn, you feel like getting organized. You feel like getting stable. I like this because even though Mars can be very impulsive, it can be very of the moment, the moon in Capricorn is going to give that momentum staying power. Rather than just shooting from the hip and just doing whatever impulsively, once the moon goes into Capricorn, it's like, all right, I'm focused on this, and this is what I'm going to work on. This is what I'm going to structure and organize. And again, once you do that, the universe will meet you more than halfway. So I hope this is all making sense as I'm building on this energy of what is available to us this week, right? So again, once the moon moves into Capricorn, you're going to want to get structured, you're going to want to get organized, and you're going to want to get serious. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so then on Saturday, we have Mars sextile Neptune, and then Mars will make a move into Gemini. All right, so you will see at the right-hand portion of the chart, we've got Mars at 0 degrees of Gemini. And in the other circle, we've got Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Now, before Mars moves into Gemini, it will make an exact sextile to Neptune. So this I like to call dreaming a new dream, okay? Now, both planets are going to be at 29 degrees. So this dream that you're dreaming, you're probably going to be feeling it very intensely. It can almost feel like a yearning. It could feel like a hunger almost for something. Now, because it's a sextile, it's gonna be relatively positive. Now, what I want to say, like how this could really play out for you is Perhaps you're watching TV or perhaps you're scrolling through social media and you see something and you're like, oh my gosh, I want that. Oh my gosh, I want that. Oh my gosh, I want that. It ignites this desire within you to have this thing. Like I said, it's dreaming a new dream. And I love that, right? Because again, this is a week of newness. This is a week of doing new things and transformation. So, with Mars sextile Neptune, allow yourself to be influenced. And I know that sounds kind of weird. Because nowadays the word influence gets used frivolously. It doesn't necessarily denote a good thing, I think. But with Mars sextile Neptune, it's like if you're open to being influenced, it can reignite some passions within you that have been laying dormant or that you never realized that you had. It's sort of this, it's like when you turn a pilot light on and then it lights up. Like allowing yourself to be influenced will do that for you, which I think is a great thing because we're at a juncture in time when we are changing, right? I think I talked about this last week or the week before about our evolution and how we're in the process of our evolution. And so this week, how we're contributing to that evolution is through sheer will, especially with all of these Mars transits, and overcoming our insecurities. And also leaving room for spirit, right? But our willpower, our desire, that Mars like energy that gets us fired up is going to point us in the direction of where we want to go. And by dreaming a new dream, we're opening new doors for ourselves, essentially. Okay. So I feel like it's one of those transits where, like I said, allow yourself to be influenced, allow yourself to be open to new things. You know, like I said, Mars is very impulsive and also quite risky. So maybe you've been playing it safe when it comes to your desires or what you'd like to achieve, right? You know, I know that I'm definitely guilty of this where it's like I want things, but then I temper it with my logic. Like I temper it by what I think I can get. And that playing it safe just serves to limit you. And as we've already heard with Mars conjunct Uranus, we're breaking the mold. So this requires us to have dreams that we've never dreamt before. This may require us to have desires that we've never tapped into, that we've been afraid to tap into, that we've psyched ourselves out from pursuing, right? Mars sextile Neptune, dream a new dream and be bold with it. Be saucy with it. Like it doesn't matter. This is where your logical mind kind of takes a back seat and you let your impulses and your imagination drive the car. All right. And then after Mars reaches a sextile with Neptune, it will move into Gemini. And I alluded to this before in the intro. This is like operating on full cylinders when it comes to your mind. This is mental overload. This is lots of ideas. Mars will conjoin Jupiter at some point in the future. Mars will be in Gemini, I want to say until September or something like that, beginning of September. So between now and then, Mars is going to conjunct Jupiter. And again, that's expansion plus invigoration. Okay. And it all has to do with your mental activities. You may find that wherever Gemini is in your natal chart, this area of life gets extremely busy. Whether you have a lot of communication, whether you're learning a lot of new things, whether you're talking to a lot of people, whether you're just thinking a lot and brainstorming, this area of life is going to be very busy over the next couple of months. So you really need to pace yourself because mental burnout is definitely a real thing. And the thing with Mars, not only is Mars impulsive, Mars is not necessarily concerned with finishing. Mars is all about starting. And so this may have you starting a lot of projects, you know, having a lot of unfinished writings, like not really closing things out, right? Or having thoughts that you don't necessarily flesh out to their completion. And so by the end of this transit, by the time we get to September, you may have a whole lot of little things done, little bits and pieces. Now, It's not necessarily a bad thing. But I will say, with all of this dynamic energy, you want to focus it, right? You don't want to be flailing all over the place. You want to pick something and try to stick to it. And when you decide to stick to it, you put your full force, effort, and energy behind it. All right. So think of a master plan, but try not to think of 10 different master plans. All right. That's just scattering your energy. And we definitely don't want that. All right. But again, Mars entering Gemini on Saturday. Things are about to get really, really busy. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right, and then Sunday, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. So first of all, we got the full moon in Capricorn. You see the sun on the left-hand portion of the chart at 29 degrees of Cancer. And then we got the moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn all the way on the other side of the chart. Then we've got sun trine Neptune. I'm not even going to go through all this because it's a lot. Sun trine Neptune, Mercury square Uranus, Venus sextile Jupiter, Mars trine Pluto, and then in the evening, the moon will move into Aquarius. All right, so first and foremost, let's talk about the full moon in Capricorn. I have a whole dedicated video on this, so I'm not going to go too much in depth here. However, suffice it to say, like I said before, last month we had a full moon in Capricorn at the 1st degree of Capricorn. This time we're having a full moon at the 29th degree. So there has been a progression. Now, wherever Capricorn is in your natal chart is sort of where the universe is putting an exclamation point, where it's sort of like where the universe really wants you to focus your attention. Full moons are all about illumination. They're all about culmination also. It's like the part of the manifestation phase or cycle, I should say, when your manifestation comes to fruition. So it's complete illumination. It's seeing the thing, having the thing, understanding the thing, right? And so with 2 full moons in a row, it's like the universe is like, do you see that? Do you see that? Do you see that? Maybe you missed it the first time. All right. The universe is like, I really don't want you to miss this. I'm giving it to you twice. So pay attention. There is a cycle that is ending, right? It's almost like playing a video game. You know, you're at the level, let's say you're playing Super Mario Brothers, right? You've jumped through all the tubes, you've gotten all of the coins, and now you're at that stage where you are fighting, is it Bowser, I think? The big turtle looking thing. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, right? You are battling to move on to the next level. So there is a completion that is happening right now. It could be the completion of a life lesson. It could be the completion of something tangible, right? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is not only life lessons, but it's like the school of hard knocks, right? So you learn the lessons and then you graduate. You are being elevated at this time. And trust and believe, it may not look like it. However, I want you to take the opportunity to notice what's actually being shown to you at this full moon. And take some time to reflect on what was shown to you at the last full moon. It's literally a progression. It's literally a story that's been playing out over the last month. And now it's time to level up. Now, hopefully you've graduated. If you haven't graduated, you're going to have to repeat this lesson. Hopefully now you see, it's almost like if you've ever failed a test and then the teacher allows you to like go over the exam and show you where you've gone wrong. Like if you go to your teacher's office hours and they're like, okay, well, this is why this was the answer and blah, 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 blah. So even if you're not leveling up, if you're not graduating, this full moon is like the teacher going over your failed exam and telling you what to do better next time so you'll pass. So pay attention. Seriously, pay attention. But again, I'll be doing a whole dedicated video on that will be dropping on Friday. All right. Then we've got the sun trine Neptune. Okay. And so we had Mars sextile Neptune the other day, which was all about dreaming a new dream, right? Now, sun trine Neptune, this is like, I want you to envision who you want to be. But more importantly, how do you want to feel as this new person? Because the sun is still in Cancer. So sun trine Neptune is really about using your imagination to craft your identity. And you're not doing it from a logical place. You're doing it from a place of emotion. This is a great time to do personal affirmations, particularly in the mirror. Okay. This is the time to maybe listen to subliminals, whatever you need to do to reprogram your subconscious in terms of who you want to be. Sun trine Neptune will definitely support that. All right. So try it. I feel like I'm telling you a lot of things to do this week, right? And that's because there's a lot of energy. Don't feel like you need to do all of it. You may need to watch this again to figure out what resonates with you and then do that. You don't have to do a million and one things this week, even though there's a million and one things going on. I just want to stress that before you're like, oh my gosh, Mel, you told me like 6 different things to do. Like, what am I supposed to do? Do what feels right. If anything, just listen to your intuition. Your intuition will tell you maybe this is the time to take action on something. Your intuition may tell you don't do anything at all. Let me just drive the car. Your intuition may be like, oh, I really need you to engage in imagination this week. Or your intuition may be telling you, oh, I need you to overcome this fear. We're going to work on moving past this emotional wound that's serving as an obstacle for you. Let your intuition drive the car, if anything, this week. Then we've got Mercury square Uranus, okay? So Mercury square Uranus has a lot to do with being seen, being heard, expressing yourself. That's the energy of Mercury. And then ball your way. So with this particular transit, it's like you want to express yourself, but maybe things aren't coming out the way that you want to. Or maybe you thought of something, you put something in place in your mind, you planned for something, and the universe kind of throws you a curveball, kind of keeps you on your toes and has you adapting at the drop of a dime, all right? Uranus along with Mars is also a major player this week, which means that we may have to make sudden moves. We may have to make sudden adjustments. So when it comes to anything having to do with Mercury, so that's speech, that's writing, that's communication, that's even our thoughts, right? Be willing to be adaptable. Don't be so rigid in thinking that something has to transpire a certain way. Don't think that your plan has to be foolproof, that everything has to go according to plan, especially if you are traveling, especially if you're using like public transportation. This transit is perfect for like delays. It's perfect for a missed stop, right? Just go with the flow. That's the best thing I can tell you with this transit. Just go with the flow. All right. However, the flow is actually probably going to be pretty positive because of the next transit that we have on Sunday, which is Venus sextile Jupiter. This is just positivity. It's just opportunities for positivity, opportunities for feeling good, opportunities for thinking good thoughts, seeing the big picture. You know, Venus is love, it's money. And Jupiter is abundance and abundance of all kinds, right? And expansion. So there can, in the midst of all of this stuff that's going on, I feel like Sunday could be a day where the universe kind of sprinkles something a little positive your way. All right. So be open to opportunities that make you feel good. If it feels good, you should likely do it. Thereafter, we have Mars trine Pluto. Okay, now this is kind of a little bit intense, but it goes to what I was saying before about transformation. Mars trine Pluto, especially with Mars having moved into Gemini, it's going to be trine Pluto that's in Aquarius. This is changing your mindset. It's a brand new mindset. It's sort of in alignment with thinking or dreaming of a new dream, but now we're just thinking new thoughts. However, Pluto is definitely retrograde right now. So this is like kind of going under the surface, maybe examining some repressed emotions, things like that. But kind of putting that to the side and saying, you know what? I don't care what I've been through. I don't care what has happened. I'm going to adopt a new narrative right now. I'm going to tell myself a new story. I'm going to have new beliefs. And then you're going to take action on those beliefs. Okay. Very intense, right? However, if you are willing to do the work, like I said before, the universe will meet you more than halfway. And then finally, to close out the week, we have the moon moving into Aquarius. So after everything is said and done, we have the moon moving into the air sign of Aquarius, where we are, improving our lives. We're getting rid of anything that isn't in alignment with where we are trying to go, with where we envision our future going. Anything that doesn't serve you, because the moon is going to be in the waning phase, you are going to want to discard and you're going to want to let go of. All right, my loves. So that is the week in a nutshell. I know it's a lot. Like I said, I don't expect you, and you shouldn't expect to do all of these things. I'm just letting you know what the energy is like. I want you to pick something and stick to it. Spend some time in meditation. Spend some time thinking about not thinking. Spend some time listening to your highest self. And then let your highest self drive the car. And then what will invariably happen is, despite everything I've just told you, if you were to reflect on the actions that you take this week, like let's say next week, right? You're meditating, you're thinking about everything that you did this week, you'll likely find that it's in alignment with the energy of this week if you let your intuition drive the car. All right. Can't stress that enough. All right. So now that that is done, now that the astrology is done, let's get into some messages from spirit. All right, so you know the deal. This is the part of the broadcast where I pull cards for messages from spirit. Now, I do these by sign. However, whether it's your sun sign, your moon sign, your Venus, Jupiter, North Node, doesn't matter. If it's your message, it's your message. And if it doesn't resonate, just let it go. All right, so of course, we always begin with Aries. Let's see what we have for Aries for this week. Ooh, love this for you, Aries. We've got the 10 of Cups. So this is complete emotional fulfillment. I feel like this is the finish line for you. This is the goal that you are trying to reach. And I feel like I'm getting this by any means necessary. Now, this doesn't mean that you should try to force anyone into a relationship or force something to happen. I just think that your desire for love, your desire for acceptance, your desire for family life or a great relationship or even a great home life, I feel like that desire is being reignited this week. And that may be your singular focus. The feeling of what that feels like, the love, the acceptance, you'll want to sit with those feelings. That is what's going to help bring this about. All right. But I don't know. I don't get the sense that you're focused on this because you're lacking this. I think that you feel like it's just time to focus on this. Maybe you've been neglecting this part of your life. Maybe you've been really focused on work or school or something else and you've kind of let love and family and all of that, go to the wayside. This is going to be the week where that desire is reignited. Okay? Next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we have for Taurus for this week. Okay, Taurus. Along the same lines, we have the Lovers. So you've got love on the brain too. This is love. This is togetherness. This is two people choosing each other. And I feel like there's this feeling of, okay, I'm ready for this. I'm intentional about this. I want to have this. Maybe you have this already. And maybe it's time to focus on this week, okay? Again, this could be a situation where maybe you are already coupled and things have been a little routine. And this is going to be a week where maybe you spice things up. All right. Or this could just be like you're ready to introduce this kind of energy into your life. The starting something new. This may be the new thing that you're starting this week. And I feel like there's a lot of intention and a lot of force behind it. And again, we're not forcing anybody into anything. We're just being very willful about achieving our desire or fulfilling our desire. And for you, Taurus, it's love. Okay. Next up, we've got Gemini. Let's see what we have for Gemini for this week. Wait, what was that? This can't be my week. Absolutely have zero love. No. What did I tell you? You got to leave room for the magic. Okay. So maybe you don't have any love in your life right now. However, maybe the universe is trying to surprise you, or maybe the universe just wants you to be open to the idea of love. See how that fits. Try that on and see how that fits. All right, Gemini, we've got the King of Wands. All right, so you guys are also feeling very willful this week, but it's this confidence and it's this desire to sort of have whatever you want. It's like what I'm hearing is like master manifester. Like you want something, you have it. You think of something, you want it to materialize. I'm also hearing like Midas touch. This is a great week to really focus on what it is that you want and understanding that it can truly happen. Understanding that it's not far-fetched, it's not anything that has to be arduous. It's like anything can happen if you are willing to make it so. If you are willing to tap into your God-given power, you can really make some things happen. I also see you feeling very confident, looking very confident. Some of you may be getting some recognition this week. So, yeah, look your best because I feel like all eyes are going to be on you this week. All right. Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer for this week. Cancer, interesting. You guys have the Queen of Wands. So, yes, you guys are. Whereas the King of Wands for Gemini was very much expressive and willful about making things happen, Cancer, sort of in a very Cancerian sort of way, this is also using your willpower, but using it in terms of willing your emotions to make things happen. So whereas Gemini is sort of looking the part, putting themselves out there. Remember, I said about them, they're going to be noticed this week. For you, this is about cultivating that fire within and feeling what it is like to have that thing that you so desire. If you stroke the fires of your desire with your emotions, they will come to fruition. Point blank, period. All right. Next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we've got for Leo for this week. Leo, ooh, I like this. We've got the Magician. All right. So you also have the Midas touch. The one thing I want to say about the energy of this week, as I'm feeling them, like as I'm pulling these cards, it's very willful. It's like many of us, I feel like are going to be tapping into our solar plexus energy and willing things into existence, like really shining, expressing ourselves, being willful and intentional about the things that we want. And for you, Leo, you are obviously no exception. Understand that you have a lot more power than you think you do. I'm getting the sense that some of you feel a little beaten down lately. Maybe you feel beaten down by your circumstances. Maybe you feel like things haven't been going your way. You have to sort of redirect that energy, pivot that energy, and channel it into your ability to tap into your willpower. Of all signs, Leo, not only are you heart centered, but you guys have like a lot of solar plexus energy as well. And so you guys have a very strong will. So use that will and direct it into something that you want. Again, it's like they want me to reiterate, you're a lot more powerful than you think. Don't allow your circumstances to dictate what you want or what you do. You call the shots. All right. Next up, we've got Virgo. See what we've got for Virgo for this week. Virgo, we've got the Emperor. There's just so much fire energy this week, and that makes so much sense with Mars sort of being all over the place. All right, Virgo, the Emperor, this is like the general. This is directing things. So some of you may be delegating tasks this week. Others of you are realizing that you're playing chess, not checkers. And so this is going to be a week of being strategic with your energy. Not everything requires your energy and effort. That goes for everyone. And this sort of harps back on what I was saying before about even though there's a lot going on this week, don't feel like you have to do the most. Virgo, especially when it comes to you, you have to be very strategic about where you're putting your energy and effort. Now, where you put your energy and effort has a lot to do with not only what you want, but I'm hearing like what is more profitable, like what will give you a greater return on your investment. It's like I feel like this has to do with money. So depending on what will be more profitable for you, where you'll get more bang for your buck, essentially, that's where you need to put your energy. But again, the focus is being strategic about it. There's going to be perhaps not even desire, but there may be a tendency, especially this week, to be very scattered all over the place, right? This is saying hone in on what's really important. Almost like when you have a business, right? There's a million and one things you can do in your business. You're either working in your business or on your business. And then you have income generating activities and non-income generating activities. You know, I said before, Virgo is all about delegation. This week, you're going to want to delegate the non-income producing activities to someone else and focus on the income producing ones. Okay. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we have for Libra for this week. All right, Libra. We've got the 5 of Swords. See the expression on this guy's face? He's got a headache. Mental overload is definitely a thing for you this week. All right. And so you don't want to burn yourself out too much. You definitely want to take it easy. You definitely try not to overthink things. I feel like this guy feels this way because he's just been overthinking everything. You see this guy in the background? This guy looks like he's free. He's like, oh, I've got no problems, right? This is also, it's giving me this energy of perhaps you're in an argument with someone or you're in a debate, or this has to do with you and someone else. And I feel like less is more. You don't have to say as much. You don't have to overthink this situation. I guarantee the other person is not thinking as hard as you. The other person is not as engaged in this as you are. They are nice and free, fancy free, all back here doing them. Meanwhile, you're the one with the headache and you're the one that's not feeling good. All right. So it's not that serious. Try not to overthink the situation. You don't have to say too much. Less is definitely more. All right. That was Libra. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we have for Scorpio for this week. All right, Scorpio, we've got the 8 of Wands. I'm hearing some of you may be taking a trip. So you may be taking a trip someplace far. Maybe you're going on vacation. If so, that's great. For others of you, this is about expansion, all right? And specifically Mars sextile Neptune with dreaming a new dream. Some of you need to cast a wider net. Some of you have really been limiting yourselves, you know? Scorpio is like the bottom of the ocean where it's the darkest, where it's the coldest, right? Scorpio goes places most people don't want to go. But this 8 of Wands is sort of pushing you to go from the bottom of the ocean to outer space. And it may feel uncomfortable. You guys are very comfortable at the bottom of the ocean. However, this is a time of expansion. Now, this shouldn't feel too uncomfortable for you because you guys are the sign of transformation. So when it comes to any sort of transformation, you guys are always up for that. However, this is asking you to put yourself out there in a way that maybe you haven't before. So this may require you to teach people what you know, lead people by example, or sort of stand on your soapbox and start preaching, okay? So do that. Remember, this is a week of doing new things. We're letting our intuition drive the car, but this may be a time when we start something new this week. And so for you, this may be a time of personal expansion and recognition. Okay. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got for Sagittarius for this week. Sagittarius, we have the High Priestess. All right. So I'm hearing two things simultaneously. One, the answers that you seek are within. For others of you, you may need to take a visit to a high priestess to sort of guide you along your path. So whether that's a reader, could even be, I'm hearing like a therapist or something, but getting in touch with your emotions is going to be a big thing for you this week. So regardless of whatever is going on in the cosmos and all of this crazy energy and mixed bag energy that we have this week, you are very introspective. This is going to be a week where you say less, where you listen more, where you hang back a little, where you're not necessarily out there. There's important messages that are trying to find you, important downloads that need to be had, and you need to sort of quiet down. Maybe if you're not getting these downloads, again, some of you may be seeing a high priestess this week who can help enlighten you. Okay. Next up, we've got Capricorn. See what we've got for Capricorn for this week. Capricorn, we've got the Fool. All right. So it is definitely time for you to start a new cycle, especially with the full moon in your sign again. The cycle has finally completed, and now it's time for you to move on. And you should, I don't want to say you should, but the best way to approach this new cycle is with enthusiasm and with faith. Take a moment to pat yourself on the back, especially if you've leveled up, right? Nothing prepares us for the next level than really acknowledging where we've come from and giving ourselves the praise and the recognition, especially that we seek from others. However, doing that sort of fuels us into this next level. So this is definitely going to be a week where you are taking a leap of some sort, taking a leap of faith. But in doing so, acknowledge how far you've come. Allow yourself a graduation party, if you will, figuratively or even literally, maybe. But again, pat yourself on the back for a job well done, and now move into this new chapter fearlessly. Next up, we've got Aquarius. Let's see what we have for Aquarius for this week. Aquarius, we've got the Star. This is actually your card. The Star card is associated with the sign of Aquarius. So this may be a week where dreams come true, wishes are fulfilled, and you have a really clear vision of the future. The Star evokes hope, right? You see how she's just looking up at the cosmos of that really bright star. She has that string attached to it. It's like something is a lot closer than you think. It kind of looks like she can just pull this string and this star will come to her, right? A dream, a hope, a wish is a lot closer than you think. You kind of just have to reach out and grab it. So this could be a week where you feel very fulfilled, where you feel happy, where you feel joyous, right? Something that you've wanted to do, you're doing. Something you've wanted to have, you have. Maybe even someone you've wanted to be with, you're with them, right? But this is a time of emotional fulfillment. It's a time where what was in the future may now be a part of your present. And last but certainly not least, we've got Pisces. Let's see what we've got for Pisces for this week. Pisces, I like this. We've got the Ace of Cups. So this is could be a relationship, although it's just a new thing that really fills your heart with joy. It could be any sort of relationship. It could be even a new job, something that fulfills you emotionally and that is new, okay? There's also this element of wanting to share this joy with others. You see how she has this cup and she's holding it sort of out for everyone to see? Like there's something about this joy that's just going to radiate to other people. So maybe you want others to share in this joy with you. But either way, I feel like this is a week where you're focused on what makes you feel joy, or you're just experiencing something that is joyous that you want to share with other people. All right, my loves. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week. For information on all of my products and services, all of that is either in the description box below or tagged to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and I will see you in my next broadcast. All right, my loves. Have a great